Film montages are probably one of the quickest and easiest ways to tell you so much about a character in a film or TV show in a very efficient manner. And it displays the energy of the character, which is incredibly important. And what does it usually always include? Well, the closet. Because that's right, their clothes, the clothes that they choose to put on their body, communicate something. We love to admire characters from movies and ogle their clothes and think how perfectly matched they are. All the little outfit transitions, the arc of the character's journey in the film that make you feel like you know that character inside and out. That's what fashion can do for you as well. It doesn't just have to be a film premise. But the thing is, we often forget how much time, research, and energy a costume director or the costume team puts into crafting these images. Ralph Lauren famously used to rig a room before he designed any collection so that the entire space that he was in felt like the energy he wanted in his runway collection. Similarly, Catherine Manning, the famed costume designer behind films like Moulin Rouge and The Great Gatsby, spent years researching those films and the decades that they took place in, and handcraft so many of those costumes with insane amounts of detail. There was a lot of effort behind the scenes, and sometimes we assume that, well, our fashion just doesn't work because we don't look like X, or our fashion doesn't work for us because, well, we're not a costume designer and we don't see what looks right and wrong. But what we're missing is the foundational elements to our style and how important it is to put in the foundational work, the research, the organization, the planning, to really develop an authentic personal style. When those costume designers design for films, so much thought is put into the things they purchase. And yet, in our society, so many of us purchase on impulse or fast fashion in bulk, and we don't really think about the choices we're making. We want to build authentic personal style, and each purchase needs to reflect that. No wonder there is fashion confusion. We need to start treating our closets like sacred little spaces that reflect our best selves. If we look at the world in general, we don't have a lot of space that we can call completely our own. But your closet space should be a complete representation of you. And if you're looking at me being like, absolutely not, Gabby, my closet is an absolute hot mess and it is not a sacred space or a joyful space, well then, welcome to this video because it is time for a closet audit. So what is a closet audit and why do you need one? Is it just decluttering?
No! God, please, no!
Is it trying everything you own on in one afternoon? No. Is it potentially an emotional therapy session with your personal style that leads you to find a sacred, joyful space within your closet? Why, yes, that does fit. Come on, guys, you know me at this point. You know I love to make things way deeper than they need to be. Let's define audit. It is an official inspection of an individual's or organization's accounts, typically by an independent body. And this is where I'm going to say I don't think you should hire a personal stylist to help you do a closet audit, and here's why. Stylists can be very helpful to inspire you to try new looks, to help you sort through some fashion data, or tackle style hurdles that you just can't overcome yourself. But your closet is a deeply personal space, and what you choose to fill it with is also uniquely you. And I don't know if a personal stylist can connect with you on that level and understand your reasoning for keeping an item or for not wanting to get rid of an item. So these personal choices really need to reflect you. But what we really want to do with this closet audit is get in touch with our self-expression, start to understand where our A+ pieces are in our closet and how we can make our entire closet an A+ space. But the audit, when done with a logical strategy, which I will lay out for you, is really a personal experience. We want you to walk away feeling more connected to your clothes and feeling like they're a true expression of yourself. Some people, on the other hand, may just want to declutter their closet, give away a few items that are stained or don't fit anymore and call it a day. It kind of depends where you are in your personal style journey if this type of audit is right for you. Because we're going to go deeper than just, okay, this piece doesn't fit anymore, so I'm donating it. So when I originally pitched this video, a commenter said, can you please give us a lazy way to closet audit? Because I just don't have the time to pull everything out of my closet and try everything on in one afternoon. And I am happy to tell you that that is not the methodology we are going to do. We are going to strategically and slowly go through items in our closet. This is not a done in an afternoon type of scenario. I'm not going to recommend that you Marie Kondo your entire closet and buy all these nifty Amazon storage systems. So what are we doing with these closet audits? We are essentially trying to line up our personal style expression with who we are and the raw materials that we are using to express it, i.e. our clothes. But let's start with the basics. I take a bit of umbrage with people who say that fashion is frivolous. One must only look towards the lowest points in history and the lengths that people are willing to go to maintain their sense of style, their identity, and their expression through their clothes. To conclude that even when life is unimaginably difficult, fashion still resonates in one's bones. Whether it's the little red shoe at the Auschwitz Museum or how women in World War II would paint on the lines of their stockings, fashion can be pure pleasure, but it is also a complete necessity too. I'm absolutely not trying to diminish any hardship through this comparison, but what I am trying to say is that sometimes fashion is put under a misogynistic umbrella, and that's really not fair. And that we shouldn't allow others to diminish this aspect that is central to our lives. I relate to Misha Prado when she said, "I've become impatient when people claim they don't care about clothes. They still dress every morning, and if they're going to reject fashion, they will need the clothes to show it." Okay, so what type of chef are you? Don't worry, I'm not going to try to teach you how to cook. So the first step in this process is to set realistic expectations and look at the process with a personal lens. Because your closet can end up looking like this, or it can end up looking like this. And the goal is not to have Instagram-worthy closets that you can post on your feed, but rather it's to create a sacred space that reflects you and works for you. So let's imagine you're a chef. Some chefs need their mise en place set up beforehand and are very strategic with their planning. Other chefs like to wing it and throw ingredients as they taste it and adjust. Or maybe you're a baker and require extreme precision. So kind of determining what chef you are is a way to avoid the comparison traps that we can feel when we get into closets and fashion. You may not have a walk-in closet with little lights to make each shoe feel like a movie star. Thank you. I'd like to thank the Academy. But that's okay. If you have a closet that speaks to your personal style expression and works for your daily life, then that is a win. We need to stop comparing ourselves to Instagram perfect closets. Okay, the next step is to look at where your closet is right now. We want to examine what we need our closet to do for us, and we need to set realistic expectations. Go to your closet, open it up, ask these questions. What are my biggest issues with my closet currently? Is it overstuffed? Is it unbalanced? Is it hard to navigate or find pieces? Is it full of clothes I no longer wear? Or imagine that a stranger walked into your bedroom, you opened your closet. So what is your closet saying? Are you seeing pieces that reflect you? And next we're gonna map out a few goals that we would like to accomplish over time. You can have two columns. One is a list that says, here are the things that I'm noticing about my closet that are not working for me. Next, we're going to have a realistic goal column. For instance, if your closet is overstuffed, I'm going to take a finer look at what percentage of my closet I'm actually wearing and attempt to eliminate some easy no's first. Quick note, before you begin, it is good to brush up on your style toolbox. A style toolbox is all the foundational information and style systems you actually apply to your outfits regularly. When we define these tools and how we use them, we get better acquainted with our own personal expression. And we can see where our closet might not be supporting some of these goals. So for my closet, one of my style toolbox is my seasonal color palette. One glance at my closet and you can see that I have not prioritized my seasonal color palette. That is a goal I am trying to work on. So the first step when auditing my closet was to get rid of easy no's. I got rid of warm and bright colors that absolutely did not suit me. And this can be done in steps. Is black technically in my seasonal color palette? No. But am I going to get rid of black clothing that I wear regularly and like? Probably not. This step should probably take around 20 to 30 minutes. But it doesn't matter if you've eliminated one piece or 20 pieces. The goal is to be one step closer to that sacred closet space. And if you're a type A person or you enjoy style data, I encourage you to snap a quick pic of each piece in a folder entitled Style No's. You can start to reflect back on that album and see if there's any commonalities among all of your no's. I believe that the whole journey of fashion is an emotional expression of our truest self. But the methodologies that we use to get there, to that authentic personal style that we love, is often very logical, strategic, and research-based. We're using strategies to help us find the creativity in our style. You've completed the first stage of this closet. So it can help you to see what are your A+ pieces or your most worn pieces in your closet. And if you're having trouble sorting through this, it's helpful if every time you wear a piece or you know that piece is an A+ piece, to move it to the left side of your closet. This will start to give you some clarity on what you're actually wearing. And if you're stressed about having your closet become a disorganized mess, you can take daily outfit photos and use that data set to determine what your most worn pieces are. And here's the step that you're going to repeat many times over the course of probably 2 months. Every week, I want you to take out between 1 and 5 pieces from your closet and go through them. The first question you want to ask is, does this piece work for your style toolbox? And have you worn it recently? Time past, time present, and time future are all encapsulated in what we wear, our immutable identities constantly finding expression in a dress or a pair of shoes. Next, I want you to evaluate your emotional reaction to the piece. Let's think about clothes as a biographical experience. Think about your clothes from when you were born till now. Have they told the story of you? When you look back at photos, do you have that one dress that you're like, oh my God, that epitomized me at that age? Or that one look that was like, yep, that was a moment, maybe not such a good one, but it still spoke to that age. And in this article that I have on my website, all about developing a personal style statement or style mantra, I talk about imagining yourself 50 years from now. What would be on the cover of your biography? What outfit would completely embody you and express to everyone who you actually were over those 50 years? And I think this can be a really valuable experience because when we're auditing our closet and we're pulling out a piece from our closet, we can ask ourselves, how does this piece tell the story of you? But I don't want you to be too perfunctory about this process because when you evaluate a piece of clothes, clothing involves human emotions and human attachments. So it's a fine line between being logical about a piece and respecting the emotion you have attached to it. I want you to rejoice through your clothes. What are you drawn to? What is it giving you? Does it deserve to be a fabric friend, or is it just acquaintance that you admire from afar? So let's examine this dress. Have I worn it recently? No. Do I like how it fits? Yes, but I would love it if it was mid-shin length instead of knee length, which is a much better proportion for me. Unfortunately, no way to change this. Is it in good shape or worthy of repair? Generally good shape and nice quality piece overall. Does it fit my style toolbox? Definitely fits my romantic essence, but might be lacking my relaxed and free beauty style elements. Maybe explore how this could be tweaked in different outfits. The emotions it evokes. Neutral, leaning happy. I love the concept of the dress and I think it would be sad to part with it, but maybe because I'm mourning some elements of my style evolution. Does it relate to my style expression? Not 100%. How might I style it? Could I play around with adding a black wrap coat, tights, and maybe a less polished shoe to give it a little bit more free beauty qualities that I like in my outfits? Make it seem a little less prim overall? Does it spark joy? Some joy, unsure if it's worthy of my secret space. Do I have guilt getting rid of it? Yes. Result, closet purgatory for 5 months. You should do all of this at your own pace, and trust me when I say that rushing the process won't make you any more sure of your decisions. So please take your time. I want this to be an easy habit to integrate into your daily routine. So these 1 to 5 pieces that you're going to evaluate, it can be while dinner is cooking or while you're letting your skincare sink in a bit more. It doesn't have to be this big to-do that you plan for. Just make sure you're doing it consistently. It's kind of the Kaizen philosophy of closet audits. Small, meaningful, but slightly imperceptible changes that slowly build on one another over time. Now, if you're like, Gabby, I really want to move the needle on my style. I'm feeling motivated. I don't want to lose this energy. How can I speed it up slightly more? Well, if you really want to speed it up, you could try doing 5 pieces a day. But I want to caution you that if you start to get stressed, overwhelmed, or decision fatigue, you need to slow down. The goal is to get better acquainted with your past purchases, so it's okay to look at your closet and say, oh my God, how much money have I spent on all these pieces that I no longer wear? That's okay. What we're trying to do is improve it so that we don't do that in the future. Aww. And it's okay to also feel a little bit disconnected from your closet at this point. We are moving towards a more connected space, creating that sacred space of self-expression, but it's okay that it doesn't feel that way right now. Most of us haven't been taught the significance of our clothes as a personal tool, and that's really a shame. But I want you to develop that knowledge. Tragically, most of us have only been given the do's and don'ts of style, which we unfortunately try to squeeze ourselves into these boxes only for them to change the next season. In the slow and steady closet audit process, we are not just evaluating what to keep, what to get rid of, but we're also trying to figure out what do we have a tendency to overbuy? What percentage of our wardrobe are we actually wearing? What elements consist of our style A+ pieces? What elements are part of the style no sections? We're getting a better understanding of our own expression through what we keep and what we get rid of. I want you to have a personal experience with each piece that you pull out of your closet, which is why we're not doing it quickly all in one day, and it's also why we're only doing 1 to 5 pieces at a time, because I really want you to sit with the piece. I want you to take it out. I want you to look at the details of it, the color, what do you like about this piece, what do you not like about this piece. Put it on maybe if you're questioning the fit or how the fabric lays on your body. We're really getting reacquainted with this piece, and we're understanding maybe it works this way, maybe it doesn't work this way, maybe I can tweak it here. We want every piece in our closet to have a truly personal connection to us. And if this is all feeling a little bit too abstract, or you want some questions to ask yourself when you're evaluating a piece, here are some ideas for you. Okay, let's talk about trusting our fashion gut. Now, I know that personal stylists and style systems can be an amazing resource for you to start to understand why certain pieces work for you or why they might not work for you. But it can also lead you astray at times because you gather so much information at once, and there's all these misconceptions, these complicated and nuanced systems, and it's hard to separate the good, the bad, and the ugly. But sometimes what we suppress is our own gut instinct, and in place of that, we trust the professionals instead. Hi. We trust the stylist that we pay, we trust the Etsy color analysis because they must be a professional, and we trust the person who writes a 500-word comment on our Essence blend because, well, they wrote so much they must know what they're talking about, right?
Sure, Jan.
But you get to decide how your sacred space exists, and if the vocabulary you're using, your clothes, is matching what you want to express to the world. I know that I've been talking a lot. I'm sure this video will be long, but let's talk a little bit about the entire process so that you understand where this process is going. So here's the part where people get stuck and they often give up, because at this stage you don't have a lot of like dopamine wins. You're not like, oh my God, I got rid of so many pieces, this feels so good. And your closet isn't quite a sacred space yet. So you just kind of like fizzle out. But I really want to challenge you to keep going with it. And if you want, we can develop a kind of accountability thread in my Facebook group, which is linked below, to keep everyone going in this process. But it is important to move on to stage 2 because the wins will be there, I promise. So why don't I just recommend pulling everything out of your closet and going through it all in one day? Well, I want you to think about this as kind of like a style therapy session. You meet a new therapist and you unload 20 years of trauma in your 45-minute session, and you expect them to fix it all in one go and walk out of there trauma-free and totally happy. That's not really a realistic expectation, right? And the same is true for your wardrobe closet audit, because what we want to do is we want to get reacquainted with ourselves through our clothes. So by doing it slowly, we really get to see, what am I emotionally attached to? What makes me physically happy? We get the time to reevaluate our wardrobe priorities and get to know ourselves in a slow and steady manner that leads to creativity and true personal style expression. We also eliminate the overwhelmed feeling, the decision fatigue, and we can be more confident in the decisions we make. It becomes a much more enjoyable experience, and you gain a lot more knowledge doing it slowly. So let's talk about fashion purgatory. As you go along this evaluation process, you may find pieces that are harder and harder to evaluate. And what I want you to do is, if you're really struggling, put them on hold. So for me, I personally use an under the bed storage bin, and any piece that I'm really kind of feeling conflicted on and I don't know if I should keep it or donate it or rehome it or sell it, and it's just creating stress for me, I rehome it into that bin. So it's out of sight and out of mind. And usually after about 5 months, I go through those items again. And honestly, I have never kept one of those items that ended up in that bin, and I've never had to go into that bin to wear something that I wanted. I'm not saying it's never gonna happen, and it makes the process of letting these pieces go a little bit easier, and it creates a closet that is more sacred in the moment. So This can be a good intermediary step if you're really struggling with certain pieces. If you have a very large closet, or you are forgetful and you're struggling to remember what pieces you've already evaluated and what pieces you have not, try adding a little sticker to the hanger or a little piece of ribbon to a hanger on any piece that you have already evaluated. This will just allow you to keep things organized. So as we enter stage 2, we want to do a progress check. We want to evaluate any sticking points, and we want to continue to collect those daily outfit photos. Please collect the daily outfit photo. Because we're doing it slowly, we have time to digest the evaluations and the information we're gathering. As each day goes on, you're going to find that the information becomes more clear to you. You start to notice, okay, here, wow, these pieces that I bought, like 3 months ago, it was a very reactive shopping time for me, and I bought all these pieces without thinking it through. There may be other pieces that you bought just because you loved them, and that pointlessness is okay. Like, pure joy through your clothes should not be considered pointless. Even if you don't have a place to wear it, if it sparks joy, if it makes you feel happy, if it expresses you in some way, it's okay to keep it. While building outfits and collecting style data can be very analytical and logical, I don't want to diminish the creative and artistic sides to your clothes and to your style expression. It's okay to hold on to the pair of shoes that spark joy but you only get to wear once a year. Let yourself love something. If you're confused on where it should go in your sacred space, we will address that in stage 3. But it's okay to love something just because it brings you joy. So someone emailed me and said, Gabby, I love the floaty dresses you wear, but like, what do you wear to the grocery store? Because I was told that your personal style is 80% of what you wear most of the time, and anything else is just a costume. And my response to that was, we all have different seasons and phases of our personality and our lives. So for instance, because I love an analogy, someone who visits their parents once a year doesn't necessarily love their parents any less than the person who gets to see their parents every week. Value is given to things that matter to you. You get to decide what is valuable to you. If you have a dress that you only get to wear once a year, that doesn't mean that it doesn't deserve to be in your sacred space, or that it doesn't deserve to be a part of your personal style. Your personal style is you. So if you feel that piece speaks to who you are, it is absolutely part of your style, and I would say it is not a costume. Yes, your closet needs to function, but if something gives you true joy, it belongs to stay in your sacred space. Now, if you haven't seen this movie, I highly suggest it. It's a wonderful feel-good movie and a good book. Allow yourself the Dior dress, just like Mrs. Harris, okay? Allow yourself to enjoy your clothes. The one day this item might work issue. So we build emotional ties to our clothes. Sometimes they represent someone we used to be, sometimes they represent someone we wanted to be, and sometimes they were a fix for a bad day. So it's normal to kind of feel connected to clothes and hope that one day they might just work. But we don't want our sacred spaces to be like a clothing museum, and we don't want to do a disservice to ourselves and our sacred closet spaces by saying, well, if I only lose 10 pounds, then this item will work for me. So if you haven't worn it in the past year, it doesn't spark joy, and your fashion gut isn't screaming at you wildly at the thought of rehoming it, then it's probably a good idea to remove it from your closet space. So the sunk cost fallacy, what is it? It's kind of the concept of, well, I've invested so much money into this closet or this piece already, I just have to keep going with it, under the illusion that eventually we will get that return. You were reactive shopping the Net-a-Porter sale, and you bought a pair of trousers that were just amazing design-wise, and the color was perfect, but they were a little bit too small. You spent so much money on them, and it's been a long time, and you're really emotionally attached to them, and you think, one day I will have a life that demands these perfect trousers, and one day I'll just be a little bit smaller, or I won't be bloated, and these will be chef's kiss. But previous money spent does not deem it worthy of closet space today. Sell the item, gift the item, do whatever you want with it, but let that piece go out into the world and be enjoyed by someone who can wear them. It may sting a little bit at first, but I guarantee you that you'll find immense relief in letting go of those pieces and not having them cluttering up your wardrobe. Sometimes we can love something on ourselves when we immediately put it on, but then we see someone else wear it and we think, oh, well, it looks so much better on her, or she does her makeup so much better, so like, it doesn't look as good on me. But we have to stop comparing ourselves to one another, because if we all had the same exact style and we were all on the exact same path in life, life would lose its vibrancy, right? So we have to celebrate our differences instead of comparing ourselves to other people. Now, I know that's like easier said than done, but we also need to consider that we're trying to find our own personal style. We're trying to find something that's authentic to us. And it's okay to say, well, I wanted to look like, this fantasy mood board, and then I tried it out and it wasn't really for me. I need to rehome these items. But when we look at something that we loved and we don't love it as much anymore, we need to evaluate why. Because being mindful of these things can really help you make smarter fashion choices in the future and become more connected with your style. So for instance, if you had a piece that you used to love 2 years ago, but now you don't love as much, examine, is it a fit issue? Is it a size issue? Maybe it's too small now and it needs to be rehomed. Is it something that was trendy and you got caught up in? Or maybe it was a past self that you wanted to be and that you have to kind of mourn. Being aware of where we fall into comparison traps and what they do to our relationship with clothes can be a really pivotal moment in your personal style building. Let's try a little experiment. Try it on and try to find the joy in it in your current state. We evolve, our personal style should evolve with us. So a piece you used to love might find new life by you exploring the creativity bounds with it. Layer something under it, try it with new accessories, try to give it a new vibe, examine your style statement words or your style toolbox and see how you can apply it to those pieces and re-find the joy in it. It's kind of like a relationship. Sometimes relationships get stale and you need to put the work back into it. You need to cultivate and have it be a more conscious effort. But sometimes you need to go back and reimagine, what's my relationship with this piece? Because they are the tools that you use to express yourself. So if you don't have a relationship with them, then you're very disconnected to how you're expressing yourself out into the world. It's okay to understand that this item served me very well in the past, but doesn't serve me today. So I want to talk a little bit about buying for convenience and utility pieces. Pieces that you feel, well, I kind of need them in my life. I bought them for this reason. They still serve this purpose. What do I do with them? I definitely don't feel joy when I see them. I don't feel like they connect my personal style. For me, it's like my black hoodie. Whenever I put a gloss on my hair, I wear the same black hoodie. It's ugly. I wouldn't wear it out in real life. It doesn't suit my personal style expression, but I need the black hoodie to gloss my hair. So where do I go from here? Well, this depends on you, and we will talk about closet structure in a little bit, and it does depend on the function of the item, but I try to tuck it away within my closet space if it has to live in my closet, or if you can, remove it from your closet and put it in proximity to where you use it. For instance, my black hoodie that I wear when I gloss my hair is in my bathroom next to my towels. If it has to live in your closet, that's fine, but don't just default that clothes have to go in your closet. This is your own space. You get to decide what fills it. And the pitfall that we often make is buying for convenience. So we think, oh, I need, new pajamas, so I'm just gonna buy these ones because they're on sale and they look warm, But the more work you do, the more you will see this piece really suits my personal style, and you'll see the benefit to waiting for those truly A+ pieces. Because the more you fill your closet with A+ pieces, the less inclined you will be to add a C- piece in there, even if it's just for convenience or utility. And then slowly you can transition out some of those convenience buys to something more aesthetically in line with your expression. Most pieces you will find over time will have an aesthetic replacement that still functions very well for your life. And there are ways to build a head-to-toe outfit that still communicate your vibe, even if you have difficult work environments or lifestyle needs. Another big pitfall in closet audits or decluttering or personal style building is holding on to the old you. We are amalgamations of every person we have been in the past, but we are not the same person that we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And if we were to do a closet journey from when you were born until now, I bet they would essentially tell the story of you. But most of us do not have a Kim Kardashian level archival closet system and heaps of staff to keep it organized, i.e. no staff. So for us, for the average person, that means we need to let go of our past self and make room in our closet for the person we are today. So if it's truly sentimental, preserve it. If you're unsure, put it in purgatory. And if it's a style A+ piece, highlight it in your closet. Fit issues are also a huge thing that you need to start paying attention to if you want better style. So fast fashion is so predominant these days, and it's led to a lot of people reverting only to stretchy fabrics, which is fine, they have their place. Is it a user issue where we're not sure if the garment is fitting or not? Or is it a manufacturing issue where the tailoring is just done poorly? It can make it very hard to understand your style data if you're always pulling fast fashion. So if you're in the messy middle of your style experience, I encourage you to not bulk buy fast fashion just to try the pieces on. It's not made specifically for you, and they cut a lot of corners. So just be mindful of that. Examining fit is something that you're going to do when you try those pieces on that you're unsure of. And I want you to pay attention. How do you feel in it? Is it comfortable? Do you want to take it off in 6 hours because you just can't stand sitting in those jeans for that long? Is the waistband too tight? Is the shoulders, are they snug? Are they too snug here? See if you can move in it. Garments should allow you to move. Now, if you run into pieces that you're like, okay, now I see the fit issues, and this has a less than ideal fit, but it's my basic blazer and I need to continue to wear it, start using the worksheet here for unideal fit pieces and start listing them out. These can eventually go on your wardrobe shopping list so that you can replace them with A+ pieces. You need to remember that our bodies are changing every second we exist. Cell by cell, molecule by molecule, growth and decay. So it would be naive of us to think that our style won't evolve with our ever-changing bodies. And we should look at that as a step forward and not something we always need to constantly fix or prevent. In this process, we are trying to bridge the gap between our shopping strategies, practicality, and creating a truly sacred space that allow us to express our authentic personal style. Not difficult at all, right? And here is my millionth reminder to take those daily outfit photos, because that will help you see your progress. That will give you the data you need to assess what's working, where are the gaps, what am I wearing, what needs to be replaced, how is this new piece integrating into my wardrobe, is it how I expected? All of this data allows you to be more creative, more artistic, more expressive, because you have the understanding. If you're stuck on a piece and you're thinking, when was the last time I wore this? Those daily outfit photos can really help, because when I was looking at this white blouse, I was like, this is like a staple piece. Everyone says you need a structured white blouse, and this isn't my go-to blouse, but maybe I'll need it one day, and I don't want to give away a perfectly good blouse. Let me see when the last time I wore it was. Well, the last time I wore this blouse was in the Kibby recommended jeans video, which was a while ago, for the Dramatic Classic. So it wasn't even for my ID. I haven't worn it since, and even in that video, I complained that the shoulders are too tight. Why have I held on to this blouse for like 3 years? Firming up your personal style goals. I love the process of personal style mapping, which I go through in this video, but we don't have to even deep dive that much at this point. What we want to do is we want to start evaluating our style toolbox. Remember that worksheet we filled out in the beginning? What are you actually using to build your outfits? Are you using all your elements of your style toolbox? What are your style priorities right now? What are your likes, dislikes, and neutral zone? We just want to firm up our goals a little bit more. Remember this, we are using the Kaizen philosophy, small imperceptible tweaks that slowly help us improve vast amounts. So it could be something like, okay, necklines. For me, that was an illuminating factor. When I started to track all my data and I filled out my workbook, I realized, these are the necklines that I'm really gravitating towards. It's just one more piece of data that you feel confident in, and that will give you a win later on when you're building outfits. Okay, now evaluating our easy yeses. Evaluating your easy yeses is a great way to kind of start to feel those wins. So look at the pieces that you're wearing regularly, those pieces that you would never give up, that just spark so much joy, and start a list right here of the commonalities they have. The vibe, the essence, how they work for your body type, the fabric, the necklines. Where are those common threads? It doesn't have to be as succinct as my neckline example, where yep, off the shoulder, that's a win. It can be, but it could also be a vibe. This exudes my style statement, but so does this. And you start to see the commonalities and you start to see how you show up in different areas of your life. And if they're feeling very disconnected, explore why you love them. It's okay to be abstract about this. The only person that needs to understand the connection between your easy yeses is you. So you examine it. It's not something you necessarily need to crowdsource. Let's emotionally address the attachments. I know you're like, Gabby, this is getting to be a really long video. When are you just gonna tell me to declutter my closet so it functions? But I promise you all this stuff will help. Okay, there are gonna be pieces in your closet that you just feel you need to hang on to, and you're not exactly sure why. So originally, clothing invention was largely attributed to status, sex, or utility, but historians and scholars have adjusted this to focus more on magic and good fortune. The cultural or religious beliefs bestowing animistic powers to the adornment they wore. Shark teeth necklaces chosen for their ability to bestow men with the same power and fierceness. It makes you wonder, how deeply rooted are your fashion choices? And do we still allow a certain amount of magic, perhaps in the form of marketing, to influence us into clothing and beauty choices? Looking at the pieces that you're emotionally attached to, let's trace their history. Are you applying any magic to them from an emotional standpoint? Think about the emotional attachment that you have to the piece. Is it your lucky sweater? Is it the first dress you wore on a date? Does it give you sentimental feelings from when you last wore it? Remind you of someone you used to be? Getting rid of a fabric friend can sometimes be a difficult task. Clothing becomes connection points. It's how people see you. It's how it helps you interact in the world. It's that sweater your boyfriend gave you when you were cold. It's that jacket that your friend always compliments you on. These are all connection points. So it's completely realistic for us to have emotional attachments to them. They basically form memories for us. And that gives immediate intrinsic value to the piece. And that can sometimes blind us that the piece itself is not in line with our sartorial joy. So what do we do about that? Does it even matter? Well, the answer is yes and no. So those pieces are important to you. They hold emotional significance. You have value in them, and that is incredibly important. But if you're not using them today and they don't spark joy for who you are today, they need to be part of your pillar closet. So the closet audit process may at times be challenging, but I don't ever want it to be stressful. So if you're running into a lot of stressful decisions, or you're just like, Gabby, there's no place for me to put it. I don't know what to do. I don't have a closet that looks like that. Remember to figure out what chef you are and to work with what you have. And it's okay for this to be a slow process. Now, stage 2 should basically be complete. You should have evaluated most, if not all, of your items at this point. Now, stage 3, your closet should be looking a little bit better by now, at least in terms of the space that you've created. You should feel better about the pieces that are still living in your wardrobe, and you should have a little bit more room to play with within your sacred space. Because here's where we're gonna start developing a closet structure and a flow, and we need to keep our goals in mind. For me personally, I don't need an Instagram-worthy closet. I show you guys my closet a lot. It never looks perfect. I need a system where I can easily find the piece that I want and that I can easily put things away. Next, it's helpful to examine your closet flow and how you build outfits. And this is where we can start to tweak the flow to see if there's a better structure for our closet. So developing a closet strategy is next. This is also a uniquely you recipe, but I will give you some guidelines and some strategies and some tests to allow you to hone it down yourself. So there are so many different closet strategies that you can have. So some people need to see all of their options right away. They need to open it and everything needs to be visible. So that other people need to have a more streamlined selection. They need a capsule wardrobe. They only need to see what they're currently wearing, what works, and the versatility within those mix and match pieces. Other people might want to cluster their wardrobe so that they see their commonly worn items together or the similar pieces together. Now, if you're looking at your closet and you're like, I don't think I can develop a flow because it's still very overstuffed, then I want you to pause and maybe go back to stage 1 for a little while. 1, create more storage for yourself. 2, get rid of more items. 3, move more things to purgatory. Really push yourself. If it's stressful, slow the process down. But if it's completely overstuffed, you have a storage balance issue. So for the next couple of days, we're gonna examine how we use our closets. We're just gonna be mindful of this. I know this seems silly, but sometimes just being mindful of a very basic task that we do every day can really illuminate our process. How are you building an outfit? What do you go to first? Is it for the weather of the day? Is it a piece that you feel good in? Is it just your vibe? Is it based on an inspiration? How are you building that outfit? Is it formulaic? Is it artistic? Is it function based? Think about how are you grabbing the pieces every day? What is going on in your brain? After like 3 or 4 days maybe, examine how easy it was to build outfits. Look at those daily outfit photos. Are those 4 outfits things that worked for your lifestyle that you feel personally express you? If it was flowing easily and you love the outfits you build, then your closet flow is probably in pretty good shape and you don't need to mess with it. But if you're having trouble with versatility, you don't know how things mix and match, or you're just feeling discontent with the outfits that you are building, then it's time to examine your closet flow. Let's go through some of your options. First, there's a capsule wardrobe. A capsule wardrobe is basically a streamlined wardrobe for what you're wearing today with foundational pieces that carry over from each season, and you're only seeing the seasonal options you have currently. So you don't have your winter parka next to your spring dresses. This allows for maximum versatility. It also allows you to really get a good understanding of the inventory of your clothing. So if you're struggling with overstuffed closets, try creating a small capsule and testing out those pieces only. You can use your styled outfit data to examine what should be in your capsule, because every capsule should be unique. What might work for person A will not work necessarily for person B. So now in some of my past videos, I've talked about the wardrobe balance, and I have 3 terms that I like to use for how to determine your wardrobe balance and if you have any pitfalls. I call them the basic pieces, the non-basic interest pieces, and costume pieces. And when I say costume pieces, I mean from a design standpoint and how many elements and how memorable it is, not necessarily that it is part of a costume you wear. Depending on what type of chef you are and what your personal style expression is, your wardrobe balance may be different. But if you're a capsule wardrobe person, you're going to find limiting your costume pieces may be your best bet for versatility. So if you're really finding mixing and matching difficult, examine the wardrobe balance. Where are your basics? Your basics could be this, or it could be this, depending on your personal style expression. But look towards your style data and your daily outfit photos to see, where are my basics at? Where are my non-basic interest pieces at? And where are my costume pieces at? One too often mistakes consumption of clothing and shopping as one's style. That's not the case. Style is a voice. It is not something you purchase. Style is how you put the pieces together. It's how you imbue yourself. We are trying to tap into our voice. We're trying to figure out how we use our raw materials to communicate. So if this seems arduous or abstract, it can be, but I assure you that this process can be mind-blowingly helpful to having outfits that you love every single day, as long as you give yourself the grace to fail a little bit in the beginning and to grieve the people that you've been in the past so that you can be the best version of yourself today. It's a little much, Gabs, it's a little much. Now, the next option is clustering your wardrobe. This is a more open-ended organization process, and it is great for people who like a lot of creativity and like to mix and match in new and different ways with the pieces they have. Essentially, you're organizing by similarity and how you already mix and match. Clusters do have order to them, but they're an order that only you will understand, because you understand how you use those pieces and you understand their similarities in a way that other people might not see. And you really need to be in touch with your creativity and have a good understanding of your clothing inventory. And then there are some more basic ways to organize. For me, I find that because I have a lot of clothes, that organizing by category is the easiest for me. I have a good understanding of when I think of a piece I want to wear, what category it falls into. Oh, that blouse, costume piece. Costume pieces in this part of my closet. So that allows me to find them quickly, which is one of my closet goals. I want my closet to be efficient so that I can spend my time on the creativity part of building an outfit. Essentially, this process is kind of understanding how your brain works and how you outfit build. So if you're really struggling, try a new closet structure, see if it works. It should take about a week's worth of outfit building to see if you're making any improvements. Try clustering a small section of your wardrobe. See if that helps you build outfits and get creative. Try capsuling in your wardrobe and moving things out that aren't seasonally appropriate to see if it helps you better understand your clothing inventory. Try it out for a week, assess, move on. You also have to remember that this is a uniquely you recipe. Do not be afraid to break the rules. For instance, I keep my dresses like this. I know to most people that is like totally wrong, and they're like, why would you ever do that? That looks like a hot mess. But for me, it allows me to couple all my dresses by theme. Each hanger has a little central theme that I've given it to, and I know. So when I'm going to look for a floral dress that I want, here's my hanger. I can pull it out, I can see all my options. And the next step is going to be testing it out. So continue to take those daily outfit photos and even keep a small journal to reflect on what your thought process is when you're building the outfits. How easy was it to come up with the outfits? You could even give it a little score of like out of 10. Was this a 10-10, easy to create, very good flow, or was it a 2 out of 10? And then start evaluating where the problems persist. So do I recommend wardrobe apps? Well, it kind of depends on your personality. So I think it can be extremely helpful for people who are struggling with their wardrobe balance. They don't know what colors they're naturally gravitating towards, or they want to figure out the cost per wear on pieces to make smarter shopping strategies. However, it doesn't work for everyone. You know I love data. I'm a big data collector. It's kind of my thing. But for me, I'm also very type A. So I got a little obsessive with it, and it kind of took the joy and creativity out of it for me. So for me, it just worked better to take all the daily outfit photos and put them in a folder on my phone so I could review them later. And it really started to illuminate my own shopping strategies, and I could connect the dots without that hard data set. Just don't want them to replace your own critical thinking. So remember, they are all just tools. You still need to make sure that how you're using those elements is helping you further your personal style expression. So closet purgatory is essentially the out of sight, out of mind test. We find a blouse in our closet and we think, wow, I haven't worn this blouse in a long time and it is really a cool blouse. Like, I should wear this more often. And we get excited about it. We think about all the ways we could wear it. But if we're never actually reaching for it, then it doesn't actually serve our style and it isn't a meaningful expression of ourselves. If you can quickly integrate it into your daily outfits and start to get it into your rotation, then by all means, keep it in your sacred space. If you put it in closet purgatory and you have not thought about it in 6 months, that is a good indication that it no longer serves your style and it is no longer for you anymore. If you're ruthless and confident, you may not need a closet purgatory. This is just for the people who have trouble releasing those fashion friends. Next step, collect style data until you die. Okay, if you haven't watched my videos enough and you haven't heard me say it, I truly believe that our style evolutions are always evolving. So those daily outfit photos are really a great check-in point of where you used to be, where you are today, and where you can eventually go. It's all starting to click, and how do you even realize that's happening? Well, yes, getting dressed should feel easier in the morning, but it should also be when you look back on your newer daily outfit photos, your current ones, and you're starting to see like, oh my gosh, like I love this outfit. Like these 4 outfits were killer that week. So allow yourself to enjoy the progress you've made. Pause for now. You've accomplished so much. Take your daily outfit photos and just assess for like 2 or 3 weeks how your process has changed. Now, you may also find that some of this data is illuminating towards what you need in your closet, some gaps you might need, and some common themes that you might want to explore further. So next, what we're gonna do is we're going to try to plan for the future. We're going to create a wardrobe gaps list and we're going to create a wardrobe wants list because I want you to find joy in fashion, but I also want your fashion to work for you. So this takes some reflection. You're gonna start looking at your most worn outfits, your daily outfit photos, and a list of your most worn pieces. And you're going to examine, well, are there any gaps I need to fill? Are there any outfits that I really got stuck on? So you're starting to get a wardrobe audit list. And this is also where if we mention the fit issues, this can also go on your wardrobe audit list. These are the pieces that you would slowly need to round out your closet and that you'd slowly like to replace with more aesthetically in line pieces. We're not gonna go on a shopping spree. We're not gonna Black Friday sale all these pieces. No, we are going to create a list and slowly find the A+ version of those pieces we need. These are essentially the holes you need to fill, and you need to look back on the data to examine where they are. So we're also going to build a wardrobe wants list because fashion should spark joy, and I know that shopping can be very exciting and fun, and we have to find the balance of enjoying the process, but also not clogging our closet with trends and pieces that don't serve us. But I don't want your shopping strategy to be full of fashion whims, or dopamine shopping, or reactive shopping. We want to tone those down, and a wardrobe wants list is the perfect way to do that. I personally like to have a photo album in my phone of my wardrobe wants or an Instagram folder, And I usually just screenshot the piece as I want. I do not buy it. I do not evaluate it. I just stick it in there. This is a folder of items I'm immediately drawn to maybe buy. About once a month, I go into this folder and I delete any items I forgot in there or that no longer serve me. I regularly prune this list. Be ruthless. Don't hold on to items in that folder unless they really have been stuck in your brain. And then with any items that are left, I look at my closet audit balance and I look at my wardrobe gap list and I see if any of those pieces fit a need there. Because you have to think about, what is this giving me that I don't already have? And when you find pieces that truly spark joy in yourself, you won't be as tempted to find the newest, greatest thing. If they've stayed there for a month and they fill in a wardrobe gap, then I vet them against my style toolbox list and I see how many they check off, and I try to mentally think how many outfits I could build using that piece. And don't be afraid of the evolution of your style. Your style is here, you try on this new piece and it slowly starts to take you here, but you thought your fashion journey was going here. It's okay to divert from your fashion path for a little while to explore, and maybe you come back, or maybe it takes you in a different direction. Your style is an evolution of self, and the more you get acquainted with the different sides of yourself, and the more you find your personal style map priorities, the more confident you will be in your choices, and the more you'll start to trust your own fashion gut. Okay, final step. I know, you're like, what the heck? This video has gone on forever. And guess what? We're gonna do it again in 6 to 9 months. So I think we're reaching a point of evolution for personal style. There's a huge surge and interest in developing an authentic personal style where we're using different style toolbox elements like Kibbe or Kitchener or color analysis to really find what suits us. But there's a huge emphasis still on fast fashion, trend cycles, and luxury-seeking confirmation that ends up clouding our judgment or infringing on our authentic personal style expression. It's like you're walking on the moving walkway in an airport and you get off of it and you're just ushered onto the next moving walkway on the airport. And you never get to explore on your own or figure out your own path because you're just on this path that is predetermined for you. All the decisions have been made for you. Vogue tells you what to wear this season. Who What Wear tells you how to avoid the worst fashion mistakes of your life. And it's all very hyperbolic and it can get confusing. And it can create a shameful experience with your style because you're like, well, I still like skinny jeans. Like, why do I have to release something that I feel is a personal style expression for me? But true personal style expression is starting to question the consumption of the aesthetic and decide if it's truly meant for you. And while it's incredibly difficult to sometimes do, when we're doing a closet audit, let's ask ourselves, did I choose this piece or was it chosen for me? And the biggest pitfall that people run into in this process is that they've been on the moving walkway for too long and they don't understand what is their own personal style expression and what they actually gravitate towards. And if this is one of your pitfalls or you're really struggling to hone in the things you love and whether or not this is a personal choice that you're making or whether you're being influenced to make this choice, try my personal style mapping exercises. It's really a deep dive therapy session with your own aesthetic choices and looking at your fashion history to really understand what your style is communicating about you. Start to examine the process of how your clothes move throughout your life. Where do they start in the beginning of the day? How do you build outfits? Are you pulling everything out? Are you having trouble finding something? Is your flow working for you? Where do they go when they are worn and dirty? Where do they go when they are worn and still clean? Where do they end up in the laundry? And where do they come back when they're clean? How quick is this process? How efficient is this process? Pay attention to the lives of your clothes and try to track that out. Examine where your clothes go in a day and how they function for your life and where you might need to put something. For me, I found putting a hamper in my bathroom was the best thing I ever did. I took off my clothes, they go straight in the hamper if they're dirty. It made my life a lot simpler. Location and strategy and reflecting on the lives of your clothes on a daily basis can help you find those little elevation techniques that will help you have a better closet and a better experience with your clothes on a daily basis. So I've talked and I'm going to stop talking now. Next video ideas, please choose from the following and let me know in the comments below which one you'd like to see next. Until next time.